Alright, you know what it is? It's video number 2 of the day. Yes guys, welcome back to the George Benson Football Channel. Welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chelsea news video. It's not the only video that we posted. We posted one this morning, and if you didn't know, I'm just going to remind you. Chelsea 3, Manchester United 1 was our football club's last result. It was a beautiful Wembley victory for Chelsea, seeing us glide into the FA Cup final on the 1st of August against Arsenal. If you want to watch the 6 Things We Learned video, it's a series where I analyse the game that we've watched and I review it, then be sure to go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. But this is a Chelsea news video, and I don't know, having looked back on the channel, I'm not sure if I've made enough videos about this geezer, and he still isn't a Chelsea player. He's still not held up the blue shirt. We've not seen welcome to Chelsea Football Club, Mr. Young Kai Havertz. We've not seen it yet, but again, with a transfer of this magnitude, we've got to see the earthquakes happening on Twitter before we get to see it on the pitch and before we get to see those official announcements. And the news is that Chelsea right now are the only team in the running for Kai Havertz, and what we're about to discuss today shows that the player himself is actually trying to endorse the move as well. So at this point in time, I'm looking around, it's like we're trying to cross the road. There's no cars, let's just flip and cross the road and get this one done. But I'd love to ask you guys to subscribe to the George Benson Football Channel. We're flying at the moment, a bit like Chelsea were yesterday against Manchester United. I'm in a good mood, and all of the good news is likely to continue. Hopefully, we can secure top 4 on Thursday against Liverpool. I'm even more confident now after that performance against Man United, and Liverpool haven't really looked the same, so we're going to have a lot to look forward to this week. But the big news, first of all, let's address what happened over the last few days, where Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, has come out and said that there will not be any more big signings or any big signings at Real Madrid this summer. The good news is Kai Havertz supposedly wanted a move to Real Madrid a few months ago, and if they're out of the running and he's told Bayer Leverkusen that he wants to leave the club this summer, there was only ever really one team other than Real Madrid that were really challenging Chelsea for his signature, and that was Bayern Munich. And instead of buying Havertz, they went out and spent 50 odd million on Manchester City's Leroy Sané, and then came out and said they're not going to be doing any more big business. So, you rule out 2 of them, and you got 1 left. I don't know what I'm doing with my fingers here. This is getting a bit weird. But you rule out both of those clubs, and then the other team that are very interested, and the big reputable journalists on social media and in the newspapers, they're all reporting that Chelsea are getting closer. So, even though I've already talked about this a million flipping times on the channel, I wanted to bring you guys another video because the more I see things being tweeted, Chelsea are getting closer and closer by the day to finishing in the Champions League. We've got the FA Cup final to look forward to as well. As the positivity and almost the hysteria starts to build around Chelsea about what we're building here, Kai Havertz is only going to keep seeing all of these little media things pop up, linking into Chelsea, seeing what Chelsea are doing on the pitch, getting those telephone calls from Agent Rudy and Agent Timo. And Kai's going to be thinking, you know what? This isn't a bad place to go. Not only is West London a beautiful place, but it's Chelsea Football Club. We're an iconic football club in Europe, and it is looking more and more likely that he's going to be on the way. I took a little look at the article that was written by David Ornstein of The Athletic, and it basically said something along the lines of this. I'll pop it up on the screen. Sources have indicated that it will most probably be about 80 million euros after add-ons, whether that takes the form of 65 million plus 15 million euros, 70 million plus 10 million, or a similar arrangement around that region. Now, I don't know about you, but that seemed like a lot of maths right there. But what we're looking at here, if we strip away like how the deal's going to be done, I imagine that Chelsea, considering we're still looking at business in a few other areas of the pitch as well, I think that add-ons will be exactly what Chelsea are looking to do. Instead of just throwing out all of the money in one go, it makes more financial sense in terms of management from the club to offer less money up front and more in additional add-ons for the signature of Havertz. So, what I'm looking at here is a big figure of money, but for a player of his age, and my voice just went there, it's as if I've had a wild weekend. I don't know where you'd have got that one from. For that kind of money, for that kind of player, I've said this before, but Kai Havertz isn't just a player that you buy for the future and his potential on the pitch. You buy him right now for the qualities that he's already got. He's a very talented footballer, and I think that he would immediately elevate Chelsea and go straight into the first team, despite obviously coming off the back of a good performance against United and praising the likes of Mason Mount. Even Jorginho yesterday was very good. Kovacic. You've got to look at someone like Kai Havertz and immediately think that he elevates Chelsea up a level on the pitch. But not only that, with a player of his age, if you buy him for 80 million euros, the resale value as he goes into the prime years of his career means that Chelsea are very likely, unless, touch wood, something goes wrong with the player in terms of an injury or he gets very unlucky, Kai Havertz, as long as he's got the right attitude, which as far as I'm aware from what I've read and seen, he does have a very good footballing attitude as well as some fantastic ability on the field. So, Kai Havertz, in 5 or 6 years' time, Chelsea could be looking at a similar scenario to what we saw with the signature of Eden Hazard. You buy a player in his younger years, signed in 2012, we sell him in 2019 for 3 times the value or 4 times the value of what we bought him for. As well as that, you also get the quality that he brings on the field during those years. So, when I look at this sum of money, I've got a lot of people saying to me, can we afford Havertz? Do we need him? Should we not be spending that money on defenders? When I look at what we've already got with Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, the quality already, Pulisic, Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Ruben, some of these attacking players, I'm thinking like Chelsea can outscore teams. If we're conceding loads of goals still, with that kind of firepower, Chelsea could be that team that next season are winning games like 4-3, 4-2, 5-4. I don't know about you, but the entertainment of that sounds quite exciting. But at the same time, as much as that does sound like a little pipe fairy tale for how we can entertain ourselves by watching our favourite football team, according to what I understand, Chelsea also have other plans to offload players and potentially offer swap deals for other players with targets in different positions. For example, you take a look at no Ross Barkley, no Michy Batshuayi in the squad for that FA Cup semi-final, and you just wonder if there's going to be some kind of swap deal offered for these players for maybe a Declan Rice. We've seen that Chelsea have been heavily linked with Declan, and there's also been links that West Ham could be interested in Barkley. There's also been links in the past with Batshuayi as well. So Chelsea could be looking to offload, not necessarily, I wouldn't say Barkley's been dead wood, he's actually been very good. But when you really balance it out, Kai Havertz, Ross Barkley, I think despite Barkley having a good enough second part of the season, we can all really agree that Havertz is probably a level above Ross. So offloading him, offloading Michy, who just doesn't seem part of Lampard's plans. He's never really seemed like part of anyone's plans at Chelsea. Those are the kind of deals that you can actually see making sense. Chelsea are also still linked with Oblak, which is something that doesn't keep going away. And again, if you look at this whole balancing shift that Chelsea would need to do to be able to justify these kind of signings, Kepa, there's still unsureties. He's still relatively young. We can sell Kepa for maybe not how much we spent of him, because it's definitely not really lived up to that kind of expectation. But it's not like we're not going to be able to make money back if we are to find a suitor for Kepa. So can Chelsea afford Havertz and then actually improve their defence? Yes, they can. There are definitely deals that are going to be done. Chelsea are very smart. We're very intelligent when it comes to conducting our transfer business. We're trying to get some of these bigger deals for the higher money done early, because obviously when you're going in your pocket for 80 million, it's not like going to the flipping supermarket and buying yourself a jug of water, is it? It's a bit more complex than that. So getting these bigger deals done early. We've also got Hakim Ziyech training with the boys now as well, which is just another wonderful story to add to what has been a very good week, really, or a good weekend for Chelsea. And when Chelsea are doing well and you read good news in the media, there's always one that you're looking out for, and you guys know who it is. It's Fabrizio Romano. This guy has got some of the best success rate when it comes to reporting transfers before they happen, before deals are agreed, before fees are announced. And Fabrizio Romano, again, updating from his tweet on the 9th of July, he says Havertz is still pushing to leave Bayer Leverkusen and he'd like to join Chelsea. Confirmed. This is big news, guys. He wants to come to the Blues. During this week, Chelsea board will decide also about their final budget for transfers after signing Timo Werner. Bayer want around 80 to 90 million euros for Havertz. It's up to Chelsea. And I think that with this kind of, the world that we're living in football right now, where, there's a generational shift happening. And I'm not going to use the term generational talent. I bloody hate it. There is a generational shift happening. And Kai Havertz is one of those names that keeps coming up as being one of the future world beaters. And if you look at the price, yes, it's a lot of money, but you're also putting Havertz in the same kind of bracket of potential, despite being in different positions, as someone like a Kylian Mbappe, and it costs like $250 million. So for me, if I look at it, with Bayer Leverkusen not being in the Champions League, not only does that increase the likelihood that they might accept a deal slightly under the 90 million that is their highest benchmark that they're asking for, it's also a relative bargain in my opinion. And I think if Chelsea have got the opportunity, we cannot be turning our nose up on a Kai Havertz transfer. I've said it so many times on the channel. It's one that we really want to push through. There was always the Jadon Sancho, Kai Havertz. And I think the more we've seen Chelsea since the restart, we can see that slow build-up is sometimes something that we really need to work on. Kai Havertz is very direct and he'd speed things up for Chelsea alongside the additions of Werner. With the form of Olivier Giroud next season, we could be seeing a Werner-Giroud link-up with Havertz behind him, with Hakim Ziyech supplying the balls behind that. It's becoming a little bit mind-blowing when we think about the options that Chelsea will have next season. But I don't know, I needed to report this because whenever there is an update from Fabrizio Romano, I know that it means that Chelsea are getting closer and closer. And I genuinely think, I know I've made bold statements here on the GBFC channel in recent weeks, I've got a feeling that in the next 10 days, we're going to know if Kai Havertz is going to become a Chelsea player or not. I know there's still football to be played. You've got an FA Cup flipping final against Arsenal, 2 finals in themselves against Liverpool and Wolves, and then the Champions League game against Bayern Munich, which you guys know, we're not going to shut up about that game. We're going to win. We're going to do it. And I am going to build the hype here on the GBFC channel. So subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let's see if we can hit 6,000 likes for this Chelsea news video today. Havertz update. Oblak as well, still talks going around about that. Swap deals could be the way that Chelsea still get to sign defenders as well as bringing in Havertz this summer. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you as optimistic as me that this one's going to happen? Very, very excited, and as things update, I'll be sure to update you here on the GBFC channel. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you all later. Come on, you Blues.